Hello, thank you for tuning in. We'll get started here in a moment. Hope you're doing well wherever you're tuning in from this morning. Hello, thank you so much for tuning in. I do apologize ahead of time for not replying once I start reading, but I do not want to stop the reading uh, in that. So, again, I apologize in advance for not stopping the reading to reply to your comments. If there's anyone that does show up, um, that is karmic, okay, I will delete them from the channel. But yeah, again, I apologize for this particular live. I will not be stopping to uh, answer your comments or questions unless it's specifically pertaining to something that we are reading. Outside of that, I will be, of course, deleting anyone who comes in who attempts to sabotage or what have you this live. Okay. And again, thank you so much for all of you that are tuned in. Welcome to Esoteric Wisdom and Spiritual Truths. My name is Nehru, and I am a spiritual guide here for the 10th and final time, born on the 333rd day of the year this lifetime, during the last lunar moon. That is the feminine moon solar eclipse, or excuse me, feminine moon eclipse of 1974. That is 11/29/74, the 333rd day of the year. We are continuing our journey through the Aquarian Gospel of Yeshua, the Christ. And this text was released by Eva S. Dowling in 1908. Okay. And the publishing company, D.S. Dowling. I give credit where credit is due. And so I thank her spirit, her guides for translating this text. Okay. And so thank you so much for tuning in. Again, those of you who are tuning in, I will not be stopping to reply to your text. I do apologize, or your messages. I do apologize. But I do want to have this reading of this text flow as smoothly as possible. I am already challenged in that I am using basic necessities here, um, and so yeah. All right. So again, I apologize for not commenting on your comments in the chat at this time. We will be going live again immediately following or shortly after this. We will be going live um, again shortly after this. Okay. And so we are going to pick it up. We left off last in the 38th chapter, at the end of the 38th chapter, but I always like to go back and read the previous chapter just for those tuning in. For those of you who happen to tune in to that, that was on Esoteric Guidance, Extraterrestrial Earth Angel. That is the Shadow Band channel here on YouTube. All right. And so, yes, so I have now chosen to move these readings over to this channel again, as that is a shadow band channel. So we're going to pick up in the 38th verse, or 38th chapter, excuse me. And as you can already see, Yeshua is 24 at this time in our reading, okay? And so the preface says, Yeshua crosses Persia, teaching and heals in many places. Three magician priests meet him as he nears Persepolis. Caspar and two other Persian masters meet him in Persepolis. The seven masters sit in silence 7 days. Verse 1, 4 and 20 years of age, Yeshua, when he entered Persia on his homeward way. In many a hamlet, town, and neighborhood, he paused a while and taught and healed. The priests and ruling classes did not welcome him because he censored them for cruelty to their low estate, or to their lower community, lower society, those who were in poverty, those who were not of upper echelon, those who were not of upper class. Okay. The common people followed him in throngs. At times, the chiefs made bold to try to hinder him, forbidding him to teach or heal the sick. But he regarded not their angry threats. He taught and healed the sick. In time, he reached Persepolis, the city where the kings of Persia were entombed, the city of the learned Magi, Hor and Lun and Myrrh, the three wise men. These are the same three wise men that journeyed to find him when he was birthed. These are the same three that you read about in the religious book in the Bible that followed him, or followed the stars, followed the signs that divine source Eravat gave them when Yeshua was born. Same three wise men he's meeting 24 years later, who 22 years before had seen the star of promise rise above Jerusalem, and who had journeyed to the west to find the newborn king, and were the first to honor Yeshua as the master of the age, and gave him gifts of gold, gumthus, and myrrh. These magi knew by ways that masters always know. When Yeshua neared Persepolis, and then they girt themselves and went to meet him on the way. And when they met, a light much brighter than the light of day surrounded them, and men who saw the four stand in the way declared they were transfigured, seemingly more like gods than men. Now, Hor and Lun were aged men, or older men, and Yeshua placed them on his beast, camel, goat, whatever he was using, donkey, to ride into Persepolis, while he and Myrrh led on the way, so the others walked. And when they reached the Magi's home, they all rejoiced, and Yeshua told them, or told the thrilling story of his life. Excuse me just 1 second while I delete someone, block them out of here. Excuse me for just 1 moment while I block someone from the channel. Give me just 1 moment. And when they reached the Magi's home, they all rejoiced. And Yeshua told the thrilling story of his life, and Hor and Lun and Myrrh spoke not. They only looked to heaven, and in their hearts praised God. Three wise men from the north were in Persepolis, and they were Caspar, Zara, and Melzon. And Casper was the wisest master of the Magian land. These three were at the home of Hor and Lun and Mur when Yeshua came. For 7 days these men spoke not. For 7 days they spoke not. Hello, thank you so much for tuning in. They sat in silence in the council hall in close communion with the silent brotherhood. They sought for light, for revelation, and for power. The laws and precepts of the coming age required all the wisdom of the masters of the world. Chapter 39. In chapter 39, Yeshua attends a feast in Persepolis, is the preface, speaks to the people, reviewing the Magian philosophy, explaining the origin of evil, and spends the night in prayer. A feast, verse 1, a feast in honor of the Magian god was being held, and many men were gathered in Persepolis. And on the great day of the feast, the ruling Magian master said, give me just one moment. The ruling master Magian said, within these sacred walls is liberty. Whoever wills to speak may speak. And Yeshua, standing in the midst of all the people, said, my brothers, sisters, children of our Father God, most blessed are you among the sons of men today, because you have such just conceptions of the Holy One and man. Your purity in worship and in life is pleasing unto God, and to your master Zarathustra. Praise is due. Well, say you all, there is one God, from whom great being there came forth the seven spirits. And these are the seven spirits of divine source, seven spirits of God. These also relate to your seven main chakras, talking about your root chakra, your sacral chakra, your solar plexus chakra, your heart chakra, your throat chakra, your third eye chakra, and your crown chakra. These also relate to the seven lamps that are spoken of in the book of Revelation, in the religious book. There is one God from whose great being there came forth the seven spirits that created heaven and earth. And man manifest unto the seven sons of men all these great spirits in the sun and moon and stars. But in your sacred books we read that two among these, also this speaks to the seven angels, okay? When we speak about the seven spirits of God, these include Archangel Uriel and Archangel Gabriel, amongst others. But in your sacred books, we read that two among these seven are of superior strength, that one of these created all the good, the other created all that is evil. I pray you, honored masters, tell me how that evil can be born of that which is all good. So how can evil come from divine source, come from Eravat? How is that? A magus rose and said, if you will answer me, your problem will be solved. We all do recognize the fact that evil is. Whatever is must have a cause. If God, the One, made not this evil, then where is the God who did? And Yeshua said, whatsoever God, the One, has made is good. Whatever God, the One, has made is good, and Like the great first cause, the seven spirits are all good. Okay? All are good. And everything that comes from their creative hands is good. Now, all created things have colors. All created things have colors, tones, and forms their own. But certain tones, though good and pure themselves, then mixed, produce in harmonies discordant tones. Hello, Marcia. Thank you so much for tuning in. And certain things, though good and pure, when mixed, produce discordant things, yea, poisonous things that men call evil things. So evil is the inharmonious blending of the colors, tones, or forms of good. Now man is not all wise, and yet has will his own. He has the power, and he uses it to mix God's good things in a multitude of ways. And every day he makes discordant sounds and evil things. Every day, man takes what divine source meant for good and uses it to create discordant sounds and evil things. And every tone and form, be it good or ill, becomes a living thing, a demon, sprite, or a sprite or spirit of good or vicious kind. Man makes his devil thus, and then becomes afraid of him and flees. So man flees that evil that he creates. Man flees the evil that he creates. His devil is emboldened, follows him away, and casts him into torturing fires. The devil and the burning fires are both the works of man. The devil, Satan, Apophis, Apep, Lucifer, Jezebel, any form thereof. The devil and the burning fires are both the works of man, and none can put the fires out and dissipate the evil one but man who made them both. Then Yeshua stood aside, and not a magus answered him. He departed from the throng and went into a secret place to pray. Thank you so much for those of you who are tuning in to this reading of the Aquarian Gospel of Yeshua. He is currently in Persia. He is at the age of 24 in our reading. 24. You will not find this in your Bible. Okay? You will not find this in your Bible. Okay? All right? And so we read in the preface of chapter 40. We read this in the chapter 40. I was reading the comments as we are between chapters, okay? No 779, okay? And I have no problem removing you from this room. I just want you to know that 779, okay? Yeshua just explained that divine source cannot be evil and good, but only good. I have no problem removing you out of this room, 779, okay? I'm trying to be nice to you, okay? This is my grace and mercy for you, 779, okay? So in chapter 40, Yeshua teaches his Magians, or the Magians, explains the silence and how to enter it. Casper extols the wisdom of Yeshua. Yeshua teaches in the groves of Cyrus, in the groves of Cyrus. Now, in the early morning, Yeshua came again to teach and heal. A light not comprehended shone about, as though some mighty spirit overshadowed him. And Magus noted this and asked him privately to tell from whence his wisdom came and what the meaning of the light. And Yeshua said, "This is a silence where the soul may meet its God, and there the fount of wisdom is, and all who enter are immersed in light and filled with wisdom, love, and power." The Magus said, "Tell me about this silence and this light, that I may go and there abide." And Yeshua said, "The silence is not circumscribed." Okay, I already know he's going to say it is within you. I'm sure he's going to say that at some point. The silence is not circumscribed. It is not a place closed in with wall or rocky steeps, nor guarded by the sword of man. Men carry with them all the time the secret place where they may meet their God. It matters not where men abide, on mountaintop, in deepest vale, in marts or trade, or in the quiet home. They may at once, at any time, fling wide open the door and find the silence, find the house of God. It is within the soul. This is how important it is to meditate. This is how important it is to meditate. Excuse me 1 second while I did remove someone from the room. Okay. This is how important it is for us to meditate, because the kingdom of God is within you. Within you. One may not be so much disturbed by noise of business and the words and thoughts of men if he goes alone into the valley or the mountain pass. Speaking about isolation. And when life's heavy load is pressing hard, it is far better to go out and seek a quiet place to pray and meditate. And when life's heavy load is pressing hard, it is far better to go out and seek a quiet place to pray and meditate. He didn't say go to church. He didn't say it is better when life gets hard to go to church. He said when it gets hard, it is better to go out and seek a quiet place to pray and to meditate. Not go to church, not tell the priest about your problems, not tell the pastor. He said it is better to go find a quiet place and meditate. The silence is the kingdom of the soul, which is not seen by human eyes. When in the silence, phantom forms may flit before the mind, but they are all subservient to the will. The master soul may speak, and they are gone. You are the master of your soul. You are the master of your soul. You are. If you would find this silence of the soul, you must yourself prepare the way. None but the pure in heart may enter here, the place of silence. And you must lay aside all tenseness of the mind, all business cares, all fears, all doubts, troubled thoughts. Your human will must be absorbed by the divine. Then you will come into consciousness of holiness. Consciousness of holiness. Recently, those of you who attend any live messages on this channel, recently you know that I've spoken about the 16th level of spiritual perfection, and this is dealing with your consciousness, your holiness, that holiness placed within you, the 16th level of spiritual perfection. You are within the holy place, and you will see upon a living shrine the candle of the Lord aflame. And when you see it burning there, look deep within the temple of your brain. What is deep within the temple of your brain? We are talking about your pineal gland, we are talking about your crown chakra, and we are talking about your third eye. And when you see it burning there, look deep within the temple of your brain. It is a scientific fact. You can look up where the pineal gland is located within your skull. You can look this up. Okay? And you need to remember yourself in your prayers, okay? It's not my responsibility to pray for you. You need to remember yourself in your prayers. Yeshua is speaking about that very thing, about seeking yourself. It is within you. He is speaking right now at the age of 24, 25. Right now, he is speaking about this very thing, about finding the truth within yourself. When you are heavy, with burdens, troubled, he just said, go within and find a silent place within yourself to meditate. He just said it. He just said it in a verse previous. He just said it. So to the one who said, remember me in your prayers, you remember you in your prayers. Yeah, you remember you in your prayers. And go in silence, find a quiet place and meditate, just as Yeshua told them. And when you see it burning there, look deep within the temple of your brain, and you will see it all aglow. In every part, from head to foot, are candles all in place. This is speaking about your chakras. In every part, from head to toe, in every part from head to toe, all 114 chakras, all 72,000 parts of your nadi network, okay? These are the lamps. These are the candles. Just waiting to be lighted by the flame torch of love. That's self-love. That's self-love. When you love yourself, you can heal yourself. When you love yourself, you can walk away from danger. You can walk away from the demonic. You can walk away from the addiction. You can walk away from the karmic, the pedophile, the Luciferian spirit. When you love yourself, you can walk away from those things. And when you see the candles all aflame, just look and you will see with eyes of soul the waters of the fount of wisdom rushing on, and you may drink and there abide. And then the curtains part, and you are in the holiest of all, where rests the ark of God, whose covering is the mercy seat. Fear not to lift the sacred board. The tables of the law are in the ark concealed. Fear not to lift the sacred board. The tables of the law are in the ark concealed. This is what it means, or this is in part what it's speaking about, to say, thy word have I hid in my heart. Okay? The truth about who you are It's within you. The truth about who you are, it's within you. It doesn't mean hide to keep secret. It means hide so that no one else can access. It means guard so that no one can access. King of Swords energy, Queen of Swords energy, guard it so that no one else can access it. But this is where the truth of who you are is. Fear not to lift the sacred board, the table of the law are in the ark concealed. Take them and read them well, for they contain all precepts and commands that men will ever need. And in the ark, the magic wand of prophecy lies waiting for your hand. It is the key to all the hidden meanings of the present, future, and past. Talking about your Akashic records. And then, behold, the manna there, the hidden bread of life, and he who eats shall never die. That is he who consumes the truth, he who becomes the truth, he who becomes the living truth, he who becomes the living truth shall never die. The cherubim have guarded well for every soul this treasure box, and whosoever may enter in and find his own. Find your own. Find your own. To the one that said, please pray for me. Find your own. Find your own. Now Casper heard the Hebrew master speak, and he exclaimed, behold, the wisdom of the gods has come to men. And Yeshua went his way, and in the sacred groves of Cyrus, where the multitudes were met, he taught and healed the sick. Okay. Just as a heads up, our readings normally last an hour. By the way, at the end of this reading, I do have something in addition to share. Okay. And so in regards to the 7 degrees of initiation, okay, the 7 degrees of initiation. And again, thank you all so much for tuning in to the Aquarian Gospel of Yeshua. We share a canonical text every Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Typically, I started earlier today. I've been in heavy meditation mode all day today. And so I was ready to start. But every Sunday at 10 a.m., we cover some form of a canonical text that you will not find between Genesis and Revelation of the religious book. Okay. In chapter 41, Yeshua stands by a healing fountain, reveals the fact that faith is the potent factor in healing, and many are healed by faith. A little child teaches a great lesson of faith. Verse 1. A flowing spring that people called the healing fount was near Persepolis, and all the people thought at a certain time of year their deity came down and gave a virtue to the waters of the fount, and that the sick who then would plunge into the fount wash would be made whole. About the fount, a multitude of people were in waiting for the Holy One to come and to potentize the waters of the fount. The blind, the lame, the deaf, the dumb, and those obsessed were there. And Yeshua, standing in the midst of them, exclaimed, behold, the spring of life. These waters that will fail are honored as the special blessing of your God. From hence do healing virtues come. Why is your God so partial with his gifts. Here comes a lesson from a 20-something-year-old Yeshua. Here comes another lesson. Why does he bless this spring today and then tomorrow take his blessings all away? Yeah. A deity of power could fill these waters full of healing virtue every day if they were truly a healing power, okay? If Elijah Muhammad was really truly a prophet, he would not have been going around fucking all those women and having them give birth, okay? And then having Malcolm X assassinated. If Elijah Muhammad was really a prophet, if the one that you are praying to for this, the deity of power could really fill these waters with healing, why wouldn't they do it every day? He's about to expose a false deity here. Hear me, you sick and disconsolate. The virtue of this fount is not a special gift of God. Faith is the healing power of every drop of all the waters of this spring. Faith is the healing power of every drop of all the waters of this spring. He who believes with all his heart that he will be made whole by washing in this fount will be made whole when he has washed, and he may wash at any time. So you can heal yourself at any time, whenever you get ready, whenever you get tired. Many of us have heard the term about being sick and tired, okay? Sick and tired of being sick and tired. You can heal yourself at any given point in time. I am a witness to this, having healed my physical body of many things. Born with the umbilical cord wrapped around the neck and the left arm at birth, because man did not want me to speak and man did not want me to work. Healed myself of seizures at the age of 8. And a kidney placed into this body on 7/7/17 was manifested after 4.5 years of dialysis. That was a marked day. Why didn't it happen in 2015, 16? Because divine was waiting for the divine day of 7/7/17. Washing in this fount will be made whole when he has washed, and he may wash at any time. Let everyone who has this faith in God and in himself plunge in these waters now and wash. And many of the people plunged into the crystal fount, and they were healed. And then there was a rush, for all the people were inspired with faith, and each one strove to be among the first to wash, lest all the virtue be absorbed. So they still didn't get it, okay? So they still didn't get it. They were still thinking, oh man, what happens if the water goes away? What happens if the water is no longer here? They still were looking at it through the physical eyes. And Yeshua saw a little child, weak, faint, and helpless, sitting all alone beyond the surging crowd. And there was none to help her to the fount. And Yeshua said, my little one, why do you sit and wait? Why not arise and hasten to the fount and wash and be made well? The child replied, I need not haste. The blessings of my Father in the sky are measured not in tiny cups. The child gets it. You see that? The child gets it. The child gets it. Yeah. Let us all be as this child. They get it. They get it. They never fail. Their virtues are the same forevermore. When these whose faith is weak must haste to wash for fear their faith will fail, have all been cured, these waters will be just as powerful for me. Then I can go and stay a long, long time within the blessed waters of the spring, And Yeshua said, behold, a master soul, a child that gets it, a child that gets it. Blessed be this little girl, a child who gets it. She got it. She got it. Because she spent time in that quiet place and in meditation. Because she spent time in that quiet place and in meditation. She came to earth to teach men the power of faith. There's a stamp of approval. There's a stamp of approval. There's a stamp of approval. She came to earth, this little girl came to earth to teach men the power of faith. Thank you so much for tuning in, CO. And then he lifted up the child and said, why wait for anything? The very air we breathe is filled with balm of life. I can tell you, I did not need to take a bath in order to heal myself of seizures. I did not need to take a bath or plunge into waters to receive a kidney transplant on 7/7/17. I did not have to plunge into waters to heal myself of karmic illnesses and whatever else that was trying to be fed to me or that was fed to me via past relationships that resulted in shingles and other things. I did not have to plunge into waters. I simply prayed and believed without a doctor outside of the kidney transplant to actually insert it. No doctor healed me of seizures. No one. Divine Source did. Divine Source picked the day for the transplant. Divine Source cured the ailments that was caused by the poisons. The very air we breathe is filled with balm of life. And I know many of you have similar stories of healing where you did not have to plunge into a body of water. Breathe in this balm of life in faith and be made whole. The child breathed in the balm of life in faith, and she was well. The people marveled much at what they heard and saw. They said, just like CO said, wow. Just like that. The people marveled much at what they heard and saw. They said, this man must surely be the God of health made flesh. And Yeshua said, the fount of life is not a little pool. It is as wide as are the spaces of the heavens. The waters of the fount are love. The potency is faith. And he who plunges deep into the living springs in living faith may wash away his guilt and be made whole and freed from sin, illness, sickness, disease, whatever it happens to be, karmic or otherwise. In chapter 42, Yeshua, the preface is Yeshua bids the Magians farewell in Persia, and he heads off to Assyria, teaching the people in Ur of Chaldea, meets Ashbina, with whom he visits many towns and cities, teaching and healing the sick. And again, you will not find any of this between Genesis and Revelation. This is why so many of us need to put the Bible down and pick up some other text. This is why so many of us need to put the Bible down and pick up another text. You need to go read the book of Enoch or listen to the book of Enoch, the first book, the second book, the Cave of Treasures, the Gospel of Nicodemus, the Gospel of Thomas, the infancy of Yeshua. We need to read something else and get away from religion, because religion keeps you trapped between those 66 books. And religion will never tell you that Yeshua traveled to Persia, India, the Brahms, the Vedic priests, that he visited, they will never, as a teenager, they will never tell you those things. This is the reason why I say religion is death. Every religion. This is why I say that. Because they keep the secrets, they keep the truth away from us. In Persia, Yeshua Yeshua's work was done and he resumed his journey toward his native land. Excuse me for just one moment. Thank you so much for tuning in, Justice League. In Persia, Yeshua's work was done and he resumed his journey towards his native land. So he was heading again back to his homeland, okay? And again, he's probably around 26, 27 at this point in time. We'll find out if they mention his current age in this chapter. So in chapter 42, the Persian sage went with him to the Euphrates. So he's left Persia and he is journeying now. He is journeying into, where did we read that in? He is journeying to Assyria, okay? All right. Near the Euphrates. Then, with a pledge that they would meet again in Egypt, the landmaster said farewell. And Caspar went his way unto his home beside the Caspian Sea. And Yeshua soon was in Chaldea, cradle land of Israel. Interesting that we're talking about Israel and the recent strikes and the killing of the Iranian leader, okay? Interesting that we mention Israel. In where Abraham was born, he tarried for a time, and when he told the people who he was and why he came, they came from near and far to speak to him. He said to them, "We are all kin. 2,000 years and more ago, our father Abraham lived here in and then he worshiped God, the One, and taught the people in these sacred groves. And he was greatly blessed, becoming the father of the mighty hosts of Israel." Okay? Remember Divine's promise? Remember Divine's promise to Abraham that his seed would outnumber the sands on the seashore. And here Yeshua is 2,000 plus years later speaking about Abraham. And he was greatly blessed, becoming father of the mighty hosts of Israel. Although so many years have passed since Abraham and Sarah walked these ways, a remnant of their kindred still abide in and in their hearts of God, let me read that again. And in their hearts, the God of Abraham is still adored, and faith and justice are the rocks on which they build. Behold, this land, it is no more the fruitful land that Abraham loved so well. The rains come not as the former times. The vine is not productive now, and withered are the figs, the land of Israel. But this shall not forever be. The time will come when all your deserts will rejoice, when flowers will bloom, when also, this is speaking about you. This is speaking about you. But this shall not forever be. The time will come when all your deserts will rejoice, when flowers will bloom, when all your vines will bend their heads with luscious fruit. Your shepherds will again be glad. And Yeshua preached to them the gospel of goodwill and peace on earth. He told them of the brotherhood of life and in the inborn powers of man and of the kingdom of the soul. And as he spake, Ashbina, greatest sage of all Assyria, stood before his face. The people knew the sage, for he had often taught them in their sacred halls and groves, and they rejoiced to see his face. Those of you who are not aware, I am in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, and I recently met this lifetime, my first Buddhist master sage. He actually lives in Colorado, but interestingly, both of us meet halfway around the world in Vietnam when we leave our quote unquote land that we have addresses at, or what have you. We meet in another land. Me and this master teacher. Ashbina said, "My children of Chaldea, hear. Behold, for you are greatly blessed today, because a prophet of the living God has come to you. Take heed to what this master says, for he gives forth the words that God has given him." And Yeshua and the sage went through the towns and cities of Chaldea and of the lands between the Tigris and the Euphrates. You can find these on the map today. And Yeshua healed a multitude of people who were sick. And I think we're going to go ahead and conclude this reading of the Aquarian Gospel of Yeshua with the 43rd verse. Thank you so much again for all of you who are tuning in, who are listening. We will be going live shortly after this concludes. Yeshua and Ashbina visit Babylon and remark its desolation. The two masters remain in company 7 days. Then Yeshua resumes homeward journey. Arrives in Nazareth. His mother gives a feast in his honor. He has not been home. Yeshua has not been home since he was 12 years old. Here he is going into his late 20s, and he's now coming back home. He left his house. Mary and Joseph gave permission for him to leave with this prince to be on his spiritual journey. He left at the age of 12. He is now returning home, twice the age plus. Twice the age plus. He arrives in Nazareth. His mother gives a feast in his honor. His brothers are displeased. Yeshua tells his mother and aunt the story of his journeys. Thank you so much for stopping in. Okay. The ruined Babylon was near, and Yeshua and the sage went through her gates and walked among her fallen palaces. They trod the streets where Israel once was held in the base captivity. They saw where Judah's sons and daughters hung their harps upon the willows and refused to sing. They saw where Daniel and the Hebrew children stood as living witnesses. As living witnesses of faith. And Yeshua lifted up his hands and said, "Behold the grandeur of the works of man." The grandeur of the works of man. All their palaces, all their mansions, all their gold, all their this, behold, all the grandeur that man has built. The Catholic churches, Catholic cathedrals, behold, behold all the grandeur of the big mega churches that they have built. Behold all the grandeur, all the grandeur. The king of Babylon destroyed the temple of the Lord in Old Jerusalem. He burned the holy city, bound in chains my people and my kin, and brought them here as slaves. But retribution comes, for whatsoever men shall do to other men, the righteous judge will do to them. So for all of you dealing with karmic situations, who isn't dealing with or hasn't dealt with a karmic situation at some point in time, hopefully you've walked away from that. For whatsoever man shall do to other men, the righteous judge, that is the Sanhedrin Council, will do to them. It's spiritual law. It's spiritual law. It cannot be circumvented. Man cannot change this. Man cannot. It doesn't matter who it is. Donald Trump, it doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter who it is. Benjamin Netanyahu, it doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter who it is. Whoever it is, Putin, it doesn't matter who it is. Kim Jong-un, it doesn't matter who it is. Whoever does evil to man, they will be judged. They will be judged. The son of Babylon has gone down. The songs of pleasure will be heard no more within her walls, and every kind of creeping thing and unclean bird will in these ruins find their homes. And in the temple Belus, Yeshua and Ashbina stood in silent thought. Then Yeshua spoke and said, behold, this monument of folly and of shame. Man tried to shake the very throne of God, and he essayed to build a tower to reach to heaven, when lo, his very speech was snatched away, because in lofty words he boasted of his power. In lofty words he boasted of his power. And on these heights the heathen Baal stood, the god wrought out by hands of man upon yon altar. I'm going to say something in a minute. Upon yon altar, birds, beasts, and men, and it's a judgment. Ye children have been burned in awful sacrifice to Baal, divine source, to each and every lying, demonic, sacrificial lie that is ever spoken, that is being spoken right now in these so-called churches all around the world. Divine source, you rain down your truth and you rain down your judgment of terror upon every last one of them that is speaking, man or woman. Every temple that has been built with man's hands, divine source, again, as you destroyed it in times of old, I am asking and I am declaring again today, these temples will be torn down. Creflo Dollar, these temples will be torn down. Joel Osteen, Kenneth Copeland, Joyce Myers, T.D. Jakes, these temples will be torn down once again. Once again, divine source, as you've done in times past. Tear them down again, that they never be rebuilt, that they never be rebuilt. But now the gory priests are dead. The very rocks have shuddered and have fallen down. The place is desolate. Now, in the plains of Shinar, Yeshua tarried yet 7 days, and with Ashbina meditated long upon the needs of man and how the sages could best serve the coming age. Then Yeshua went his way. There is nothing in Scripture, Bible religious, there is nothing between Genesis and Revelation about a sage. Nothing. Ashe, Ashe, Justice League. There is nothing between Genesis and Revelation about a sage. Nothing. Then Yeshua went his way, and after many days, he crossed the Jordan to his native land. At once, he sought his home in Nazareth. His mother's heart was filled with joy. We're talking about St. Mary. She is an ascended master today for giving birth and caring for him righteously. She is an ascended master today, St. Mary. His mother's heart was filled with joy. She made a feast for him, inviting all her kindred and her friends. Joseph had passed many years prior. Joseph had passed, I believe, when Yeshua was around 16, 17. Joseph had passed. Joseph was many years older than Mary. Okay, many years older than Mary. All right. But Yeshua's brothers were not pleased that such attention should be paid to one they deemed a sheer adventurer. They didn't believe. How many of you have siblings? They don't believe. How many of you have siblings that don't believe? How many of you have siblings? Yeah. Jealous, haters, refused the truth, denied the truth, sold you off into slavery spiritually like they did Joseph literally. Okay? How many of you have siblings that don't believe? And they went not in to the feast. They laughed their brother's claims to scorn. They called him indolent, ambitious, vain, a worthless fortune hunter, searcher of the world for fame. Listen to this. Listen to this. Listen to this. These are Yeshua's siblings who, after many years, returned to his mother's home with neither gold nor any other wealth. But Mary rejoiced with his returning home. How and why? Because Mary knew who she had given birth to. She understood something that they did not. And Yeshua called aside his mother and his sister Miriam and told them of his journey to the east. He told them of his lessons he had learned and of the works that he had done. To others he told not the story of his life. Why waste time? Why waste time? The Aquarian Gospel of Yeshua, okay? That is the title of this book, text. You can go online and you can download the PDF, okay? The Aquarian Gospel of Yeshua the Christ is the title of this book. Thank you so much for asking, okay? And so again, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for listening. In previous readings, we do share a canonical text reading every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So 10 a.m. New York, Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia time, okay? We share a canonical text every Sunday at 10 a.m., okay? And so wherever you are on the planet at this time, I hope you are doing well. I hope your journey is going well. There's much to learn. I learn from these canonical texts as you learn. I am surprised. I am wowed. I am reassured, encouraged, etc., as you are, because I do not read these things ahead of time. Okay? I want to experience these things as we read them together as an energetic collective. Okay? You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome, Monique and CO. Okay? I want to read these things as we experience them as an energetic collective. All right? And as I stated, we will be going live shortly after this. And in fact, I was going to share something on this live, but I'm going to save it for when we go live Again, here, what is the current time? It is 10:43 in the evening here in Ho Chi Minh City on March 1st. Okay. Shout out to the 1 or to the 3-1, to the new beginning. That is the opposite of 13. Okay. Thank you so much to everyone that's tuning in. I look forward to seeing you if you're able to attend that live coming up. I look forward to exchanging with you on that live as well. I will be sharing the previous readings. I will be sharing those. And so in the community tab, you will be seeing posts about the first 37 chapters or 38 chapters of the Aquarian Gospel of Yeshua that I will be pulling over from the Shadow Band channel. That is Esoteric Guidance, Extraterrestrial Earth Angel. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. And as always, be encouraged.